Well. Good morning and afternoon and evening, depending on what part of the world you are watching from. This is your transfer deadline update. And here is the disclaimer before we do get started for you. The disclaimer is as follows. These are all rumored links. We're not necessarily saying we're definitely going to sign these players, but what we're doing is we're taking the links throughout the day on transfer deadline day, bring you a little bit of information about them and seeing if there's any kind of element of truth in it and giving you our kind of thoughts on whether this could be a player coming in or not. Now, of course, so far you've seen us yesterday talk about Conor Gallagher and can't even remember the other player I was speaking to you about, Ben Johnson going to Everton. And I don't think Ben Johnson will go to Everton, but I do think there's a genuine interest in bringing Conor Gallagher in on loan. Earlier on this morning, there was a rumour about Andre Ayew. There's a prime example. I don't think that will happen. I don't think Russ thinks that will happen either, but we're just going to bring them to you as we go along throughout today. And why not? So let me get started on the first story of today, and that is that West Ham are reportedly eyeing up a move to sign Union Berlin's attacker Geraldo Becker today. Now, that's according to several reports all around Europe, and West Ham apparently have lodged a late inquiry for the 27-year-old Suriname international. Everton are also interested in signing a versatile attacker before the deadline tonight, and we're probably going to see a lot of links from West Ham players. Players that are linked to West Ham who are also equally linked to Everton, have a little bit of money in their pocket to spend. Now, we know in theory we want to bolster our attacking options, and we've been looking at different players throughout the winter window. But it seems that maybe Moyes might be looking at to the Bundesliga. Now, according to the reports, West Ham and Everton both are interested in bringing a 27-year-old from Union Berlin. And he could be quite a surprise package, to be honest. He's had 8 goals this season, 6 assists, and 26 games for them so far. He's rapid and he plays with a real kind of directness that we seem to lack or have lacked this season. Maybe something that, Antonio used to do. But the interesting thing about him is he can play in either wing or in the number 10 position or even as a kind of auxiliary striker. And lots of people are saying that he's extremely fast on the ground and he could be available for around £13 million. And that is good value for a player of his ability and his current goal scoring record. Now, the probability of this happening, I'm really not too sure, to be honest, because you would have thought if we're doing any form of business, we would have been scouting this player for a lot longer than just out of the blue. So if we have been looking at a player like Becker and bringing him in, then we would be doing our homework beforehand. But the likeliness of this one happening is very, very slim in my humble opinion. As I move on to the next story, you can see here from the player, will all recognize the next guy who I am going to be talking to you about, and hopefully it comes up on the screen. And there it is there, Callum Chambers, who is currently at Aston Villa. That's according to several reports online, again stating that he is under one of the names under consideration for Moyes to bring in for additional cover at right back, with the news that we're expected today to see Hassan Ashby leave the club. Now, there's several other targets that West Ham could be interested in, but this name has come out of the woodwork again. The former Arsenal player is a name that us West Ham fans have kept an eye on over several windows as well. Now, Emery has played with Chambers. The manager of Aston Villa had Chambers and they worked together at Arsenal, but it seems that the reunion at Villa Park is going to be short-lived. Chambers, who's 28, has played 17 minutes of league action since Emery replaced Steven Gerrard at Aston Villa. Chambers did start against Stevenage in the FA Cup, but Villa were beaten 2-1 by the League Two side. Could all prove to be Chambers' final appearance for Villa, with West Ham now potentially interested in a deal. Now, Steven Gerrard was a huge fan of Chambers and called him a very, very classy player in the defence, but he doesn't have that same connection with Emery. It's very clear to see. And West Ham might like the versatility of Chambers and what he can do at the back line. But he can, he can cover centre back, he can play it right back, and we know that is the versatility that David Moyes likes. Anyway, there's your second link of the day. Probability of this one happening is probably a lot higher than the Becker one. But I'm not sure if this is going to be the player we'll bring in. But there is your transfer rumour so far. Join me whenever more news is broken. We'll bring that to you as the day goes along. Thanks for watching. And of course, take it easy. Come on, you Iron.